in the, well, communication world, what I see much more is that the digital, I would say, like disappointed, are starting to rule company relations, because I figure out like a lot of the companies where we create innovation tools, lead user concepts, configurators, mass customization solution, individualization possibilities, and so on, they figure out that there are always some core of active users, but a lot of users, they start getting in some kind of, well, conversation, but after all, after some time, they figure out that they don't want to get into a relationship with the company. They say, I just want to buy a toothbrush, leave me alone. Yeah?
Yes.
Don't like bring me into all these kind of buzz, even if I just want to, well, get into a world of low interest products. What do you think about this kind of development? Aren't companies, when you say like sales leads are out, building relationship is in, aren't maybe companies over-exaggerating the worth of relationship?
Absolutely. If you spend your entire day thinking about toothbrushes, you assume all your customers spend their day thinking about toothbrushes as well, and they don't. So I think part of it is toothbrushes are terribly important to the brand manager, terribly important to the marketing company, terribly important to everyone else. Part of that is because we have always looked at you as something to do something to, not looked at you as something that we could share together. And I think relationships, I've tried to have relationships with people who didn't want to have a relationship with me. And I try that in bars on a fairly regular basis, and I have very little success. So I can tell you that trying to start a relationship from the marketer's side is really hard to do. And so I think one of the things you have to do is you have to say, what are they really looking for? What do they want? How can we provide that? And there are a large number of people that you can't provide that for. And there are a large number of people who may want to have a relationship with you about toothbrushes. God forbid you'd ever meet them at a social occasion, but there may be some of those. So I think you have to really look at what is it, who is it, what are they looking for, and can you provide it? That's the other side of what we've traditionally done.
Hello, my name is Levin. I'm also an alumni. Yesterday I sat in a meeting with marketing executives, and all of them were aware of these things that are going on, but at the end the question was asked, how much does it cost, and where's the return on investment, and how can I make this transparent to my sales organization and my general management? And at the end of the meeting we had all these good ideas, but we have no clue how to show the value in hard numbers. So what are your suggestions?
Welcome to the club. No, I think that's a very fair review of what's going on in the world today. We know that we can create people who communicate and who will trade information with us. The problem is those are relatively small amounts of money. We have not yet figured out how to monetize any of the things, these new things that we're doing. And part of that is because of our measurement systems. And our measurement systems, you have to understand, essentially were borrowed from old traditional media. We're doing exactly the same thing in digital that the people in traditional media have always done. And they have tried to measure it, so we've taken the same approach. Click-throughs, oh boy. Eyeballs, oh boy. Which doesn't mean that you're going to generate any returns. And I think if you want to fault the digital people, is that they have done nothing to find how they could, would, and should measure the returns and the responses from all of these folks that they say they're communicating with. And I think that's the big issue. Now, I was in a program last week, and somebody said, well, if we can't figure out how to measure television commercials and television response, how are we going to measure digital and Facebook and all that sort of thing? And I said, essentially not the same way. So one of the things I think the digital people have to do is focus on measurement. And the only thing I see and hear is, oh boy, 500 million people know what I had for breakfast. Isn't that grand? And I'm not sure that's terribly relevant to a marketer.
Well,
can we go home now?
No, it's close to 7, and
okay.
I have.
Well, I told you the sun was going to come up here.
I have one last thing.
Okay.
Just recently, 2 scholars, Mangold and Henlein, advised corporations to follow 5 general guidelines when it comes to social media communication. They say, first, be active. Second, be interesting, like unique. Third, be humble in terms of first experience the new media, then participate. Fourth, be unprofessional. So if you provide communication in the social media, it should not be a surface that is too shiny, too glimmery. Be honest is the 5th one. Would you agree? And would you add something?
Well, I think those are fairly accurate terms. I'm not sure I would really want people acting unprofessionally. I have some problems with people who essentially say, this is me, this is free, and I can do anything I want to. I mean, there are some constraints in that. I think to a certain extent, I would disagree with them. What are those again? You had 5 of them? Impossible to be humble.
Why is it impossible?
Because if you're a marketing person, you can't be humble. Remember, we're the smartest people in the world. We invented this stuff. We know how to do it, and damn it, we're going to do it to you. So I have trouble. I think you're better off going back to these things.
Okay. Thanks for the discussion, but I'm not the one who's closing this session because Sieglinde Martin is doing this, and thank you for the impressive presentation.
First of all, let me say thank you for hanging around. I mean, I understand that this is maybe not the most delightful thing in your life. I noticed most of you were keeping up, though, by looking at your handheld and looking at your computer and keeping in touch, so that way you would not be bored by me. So thank you for that, and thank you for at least turning off the phone so they didn't ring.
Yeah, dear Dan, I want to thank you. As always, it was very fascinating for me to listen to you, and I hope you will come back next year.
Only if invited.
I'm sure you will not. So also I want to thank you as well. I'm very glad that I've seen a lot of faces well known as alumni, and I'm really glad to have the possibility now to invite you for a small drink outside to follow my interpretation of CN Square: communicate, negotiate, and also network. So thank you very much, and until next time. Thank you.
Thank you.